45 people on the freakiest thing they've seen that no one believes them about. I was driving near a soybean field. I glanced to my right and saw a butterfly sitting on the top of a bean plant, flapping its wings. I could see it as clear as if it were inches away. I could see the veins in its wing markings. Suddenly my vision zoomed out and I realized that this butterfly was a couple 100 feet away. Bill Murray stole $20 from me. Not in the sense that I saw a bad movie of his and decided he owed me for my time and money spent, but that he actually grabbed a $20 bill from my hand, put it in his pocket, said the words, "No change," and went on his merry way. Whenever I tell someone, they give me a patronizing, "Oh sure he did" look. The only person that will back me up is my brother, because he was actually there. When I was small, I swear I could breathe underwater. I don't know how to describe the feeling. It felt so normal. I lived in rural Canada. Once, while on a long car trip across the province, a black panther crossed the highway in front of my car and leaped into the woods on the other side. It was far enough away that I didn't have to slam on the brakes, but close enough that I had to come to a full stop. It was pretty surreal. When I was really little, like 3 or 4, my mom had to leave for work early in the morning, around 4 a.m. or so. Anyway, one day she apparently came in to kiss me and stuff before she left, and apparently I just got up and kept saying for her to stay and stuff like that. I had no memory of it later on. And I got her to stay for like 10 minutes or so extra, and then she left. On her way to work, she saw a huge pile-up accident on her route, and if she had left at the normal time, then she would have been in the crash too. I swear to God, my dog did a full backflip, out of nowhere, just sitting in the yard. No one would listen because I smoke weed. Not something I saw, but my grandmother and aunt witnessed just hours before my grandfather passed away. My grandfather died of mesothelioma about 2.5 years ago. He went into a coma for the last 12 hours of his life, but just before that, his face lit up. He said, "Daddy," and he smiled. Just after that, he fell into a coma. We all believe that he actually saw his father, he died around 1967-ish, come down from heaven to let him know he's about to go. Driving around 1 a.m. through university grounds. Very foresty / vegetated, where out of nowhere a fox, which are rare in the area, carrying a damn miniature suitcase in its mouth, trotting along the footpath as if casually going to work. My boyfriend at the time and I both saw it, and no one believed us. I saw several people riding horses and monkey masks next to the road when driving through Lancaster, Pennsylvania. What the fuck? I was around 5 or 6 when I'm relatively positive I saw a UFO fly over our backyard. I was standing next to the pool and looked up when this massive circular object flew right over the top of the yard. It had these bizarre orange-white colored lights that were around the edge of the circle. Anyways, I told somebody once and they pretty much treated me like an idiot, so I just kind of gave up on mentioning it. I chat rouletted with Snoop Dogg. How do I know it was Snoop? Because I've seen Snoop on TV, magazines, internet, concerts hundreds of thousands of millions of times. It was Snoop, and I know it was. I was out, somewhat illegally, given we weren't wearing bright orange, nor did we have hunting licenses, hunting in the woods in Maine with a friend, and we witnessed an execution. Like, 2 dudes with pistols shooting a guy with a bag over his head 5 times in the chest, then leaving. I've had dreams of things happening weeks or months before they happen. I remember someone's presentation on Nefertiti before they gave it. I had been to an anime convention before we had even rented the hotel room. It's kind of freaky, but I wish it happened more. It hasn't happened in a while. My brother, who was 13 at the time and shared a room with me when I was 6. I woke up and saw a white bear walking around my bed, so tried telling my brother, and I booked it to my parents' room and spent the night there. 16 years later, I'm reunited with my brother. We are having a couple of drinks, and I mentioned that memory. His face turned white, and he tells me he remembers that night. I woke him up trying to get his attention. Being a teenager, he ignores me until he heard me run out of the room. He put on his glasses and saw the white bear I saw. He also booked it and ran my parents' room. I've always wondered what that represented and what it was. My buddy and I were looking for a new apartment to rent. We're checking out this one place, and I noticed there's a trap door in the kitchen, so we opened it up to check out what was down there. There was a small flight of steps into a room. The room was tiny, but each wall was covered in shelves full of baby dolls. Being someone who had recurring nightmares of Chucky and Slappy as a kid, I noped out of there as fast as possible. The realtor didn't have a clue about the room. I was once driving through the Midwest and saw a chicken standing on a goat, standing on a cow. I saw a UFO. It was about 5 p.m. and I saw a figure shaped kind of like a big-ass triangle with orange lights fly by. It had no sound. It was probably only 500 feet in altitude. A kangaroo hopping through the Kmart parking lot in Arkansas. My mom and grandmother and I all saw it. And many years of people telling us we were crazy later, we found out that a resident of the apartment buildings behind the store had a kangaroo confiscated from them that same year. My mother told me that when I was 3, I walked into the kitchen while she was preparing dinner and stared straight up at the ceiling, exclaiming, "There's a door there!" Then when my little brother turned 3, he walked into the kitchen while my mother was preparing dinner and did the exact same thing. It was neither the first nor the last unexplainable occurrence to take place in that house. Glad I don't live there anymore. When I was in 6th grade, I was walking my dog at my grandpa's house, which is really wooded and isolated. As we were crossing a clearing between the trees, I hear a loud screech from above. When I look up, I see a giant bird, as in the wingspan was probably 20 feet, and it looked like a pterodactyl, straight from the dinosaur books. And the really scary thing was that I looked at my dog, and it was following it with her eyes, too, while she was jumping around and freaking out. When I was 7 years old, I peeled a banana and I saw my name carved in it in such a beautiful way. The outer layer was not even scratched, and I was pretty sure it was not peeled before either. So I told my parents, and they thought I was joking and that I wrote it on it or something. Nobody believes it. It still boggles my mind to this day. Twice in the past month, I've seen random puffs of smoke appear in front of me, coming from my chest area. Part of me thinks it might be the ghost of my favorite aunt who recently died from lung cancer, but another part of me thinks that I may have a tumor. I once saw a boy bleed. It was green blood. Even typing it makes me look crazy. My cousins died recently in a motorcycle accident. Before anybody knew anything, the daughter of one of them woke up and said, "Miguel and Danny came up to me last night and said they loved me, but that they have to go. They said they'll always be watching." Minutes later, they received a call and found that they had died earlier that morning. Probably too late, but I was staying at my mom's cousin's home. My mom needs a white noise machine to sleep, and when my mom woke up the next day, she told me that it was saying her name faintly. I didn't believe her, so the next day I used it, and the fucker started saying eerily hello to me. My mom's cousin said he heard it before, but didn't want to tell my mom, in case she couldn't hear it.